I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I have a bespoke box for the lint snowman and also one for the lint Santa Claus. I used the dies that coordinate with this stamp set from the Merry Snowflakes bundle to create my tag. And this one is from the Sweet Little Stockings bundle, and I used the stockings to make my tags for this one. While I was making my prototype, I made this one first, and I didn't realise that the Santa was a lot thinner and taller. So I made one in red, put the Santa in, and the box wouldn't close and Santa's face was hidden. The snowman chocolate, I used the Merry Snowflakes bundle, and you can find that on page 13 of the July to December mini for 2021. And for the Santa one, I used the Sweet Little Stockings bundle, which is on page 31. This snowflake bundle, you can make cards and things with it. There's 3 different types of snowflakes, some lovely sentiments, and of course a lot of variety of different snowflakes. This one will just emboss it onto the cardstock. There are some, are those leaves? I think they're leaves. And then there are blanks as well. So these will do the stamped images. Don't know which one that goes on. These will cut out individual snowflakes. I'm using the largest one here. I just want a blank, and I'm going to die cut that one to make this tag here. You need a tiny scrap of the silver foil paper and a scrap of basic white, and I'll put that on my cutting sandwich. Platform 1, platform 2, one of the platform 3s, and another platform 3 on top. And I'll do that off camera and I'll be back. I'm going to punch a tiny hole with this 16th inch handheld punch. I need to stamp on that. So inks I need for the snowman box is Pool Party. I'm going to stamp 2 at the top here, from on the back. Then I'm going to use this smaller snowflake and stamp it at random. I'll also stamp some snowflakes on this paper here. Swap for a larger snowflake and stamp in between. We'll also need the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. These have 5 spools, and I believe that the crumb cake and white have 10 yards, but the rest of them have only got 5 yards each. I've threaded my Baker's Twine through a tapestry needle, and I'll put the needle from the back to the front because I want the snowflake to be on the top. Then I can remove that and tie a knot loosely and then set this aside. The other item I need is the glitter organdy ribbon for the bow, and the smallest of the stitched rectangle dies in this nest here to cut out the aperture. So now let's get scoring. So you want the short side, the 7.5 inch side at the top. The box base measures 7.5 by 8.25. In metric, that's 19.5 by 21.5 centimeters. So on the short side you score at 1/2 inch, 2¼ inches, 4 inches, and 5¾ inches. In metric that will be 1.5 cm, 6 centimeters, 10.5 centimeters, and 15 centimeters. Rotate the cardstock a 1/4 turn clockwise, and the 1/2 inch score line will be at the top. So now it's on the long side. Score at 1/2 inch all the way down, and also at 2¼ inches, 6 inches, 7¾ inches. Then you partial score up to the second score line, 1, 2, so the 1/2 inch one there, and this score line here at 1¾ inches, and at 6½ inches. Alright, flip the cardstock over like that, and repeat 1¾ inches down to the second score line, which is down to here, and 6½ inches down to there. Okay, I'm just going to burnish all the score lines. So this is my metric template. Run through the short side, this is the long side, so you score at 1.5 all the way down, at 6 centimeters all the way down, at 17.5 centimeters all the way down, and at 22 centimeters all the way down. Then you partially score at 4.5 up to the second score line, from the top to the second score line, and then from the bottom up at 4.5 to the second score line. And then you repeat at 19 centimeters from the top down to the second score line, and from the bottom at 19 centimeters up to the second score line. With the tab on the right, the 1/2 inch tab, you can see that 1, 2, 3 on the third panel here, there isn't a partial score line. That will be your lid. So this is the top and that's the bottom. The 1/2 inch score line is at the top, and another 1/2 inch score line is at the bottom. And then your 1/2 inch score line is on the right hand side. So we're going to cut up all on the short side. We're going to cut these 4 panels here, okay? I'm cutting up to this score line here, 1, 2, 3 on either side of the score line. Okay, then fold that and snip away these bits here. And do the same for the opposite end. Then snip away these extra bits. Then this 1/2 inch score line, the single 1/2 inch score line, you just mitre, that's your tab for joining the box together, like so. With the 1/2 inch tab on your right, this is the first panel, so you want to cut away on the first, second, third score line. We don't want that bit, you can cut that off. And that's going to be the back of your box. Then the middle panel here of what's left, without the extra score line, you fold in, and then you want to cut the tabs here, okay, on the second score line in, also on this one here. So take the cardstock so it's on the other side, and do the same. Your box base should look like this. Then round off all the corners on this flap. You might not be able to do it on the inner corners of the flap because the punch won't go all the way in. So what you could do is punch it out on a post-it note and then stick it on that corner and use it as a template to cut round. Now you need to cut an aperture so that it's in the middle. Place it on my die cutting machine and I'll go and do that off camera. You have to fold one side of this so that it will fit in through the machine. The hidden money compartment, put some glue on here and be careful which way you're gluing it. I'll set that aside. The glue's ready. So this measures, did I say how much it measures? It's 2 3/4 inches by 3 inches, and you score on the short side at 1/2 inch at each end. So you score 1/2 inch there, turn it round and score the other side at 1/2 inch. So let's put some tear and tape on the join here. Fold that over. And now this goes in, and you want these two sides to align against the back edge here. So that makes a compartment there, okay? Butt it up to the edge of the box like so. Make sure there's no glue. And then you can shut the box. I can put my snowman in. Then you can add your money in there. Shut the box. Your glitter ribbon. And tie a bow. Bring back my tags, slip it in there, just one of the threads, dangle it, and then just tie a knot, loop it round. Grab a glue dot, put it on top of this knot here and tuck it under the bow, so, to keep it together. I'm not going to show you how to make the Santa box, but I will give you the measurements for the template. You can take a screenshot of this. So the width of the box is the same. It's 7.5 inches, but the height of the box is different. So the cardstock you need will be 7.5 by 9 inches. So at the short side you score exactly the same at 1.5, 2 1/4, 4 and 5 3/4. Then you rotate the cardstock so that the 1/2 inch mark is at the top, and you score at 1/2 inch again, all the way down at 2 1/4, all the way down at 6 3/4, and all the way down at 8 1/2. Then you partially score at 1 3/4 down to the second score line, and then up from 1 3/4 to the second score line from the bottom. and you repeat at 7¼ inches. The metric one works out slightly larger, so the cardstock will be 19.5 by 25 centimeters, and you score at 1.5, 6 centimeters, 10.5 and 15 centimeters on the short side. Rotate the cardstock a quarter turn so that the 1.5 centimeters is at the top, and you score at 1.5 all the way down, at 6 all the way down, 17.5 all the way down, and at 23.5 all the way down. Then you partially score at 4.5 down to the second score line, and from the bottom up to the second score line also at 4.5 centimeters. Then you repeat at 19 centimeters from the top down to the second score line, partially scored, and from the bottom partially score at 19 centimeters up to the second score line. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Thanks for joining me. All the links to the supplies are below this video in the Show More section. You can read more about this on my blog at stampwithelaine.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Thanks for watching. Bye.